to take the journey with me. So I just want to congratulate you on being at this point in your journey. It seems like just yesterday I was sitting where you are, and it's definitely important to attend events like these. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different aspirations and dreams. But it's important that you put yourself in an environment where you can learn, grow, be successful, meet with businesses. I understand you guys have been learning about benefits and things like that. That's critical. And those things will help you be more successful in the future. So when we would have our career days back in the old days, it wasn't as, I would say, progressive. So we would come and we would meet with different businesses, suit and tie and what have you, bring your resume, but the benefits part of it, negotiating salary part of it, all of those are critical parts of you being successful at the next level. So definitely excited that A&M Commerce is taking care of you guys on that regard. All right, so whenever you come to events like this, there are good speakers and bad speakers. I've been where you are, like I said. I speak at a lot of universities over the course of the year. Sometimes I'm bad, sometimes I'm good. But I feel at home. So if I'm bad, don't boo me, okay? Just blink your eyes if you fall asleep. Hopefully I won't put you to sleep. I'll try to keep you excited. So, as I mentioned, I work for Toyota. My experience has been amazing. One of the things that's really cool about Toyota is we have an amazing culture. So, a lot of people that work there, they don't necessarily work because the pay is good, which is decent pay, but the culture is great. Part of Toyota's, I would say, DNA is what you call the Toyota production system. And it goes from our manufacturing floor all the way to our corporate offices. And what it is, it's the culture of managers and leaders creating environments where employees can be successful. So whether it's time to be creative, whether it's unique working environments, whether it's the ability to volunteer in the community, because that's what people are passionate about. The Toyota production system is an environmental aspect to it. It's a culture. The second part to it is empowering people to develop themselves, to self-develop themselves, whether it's taking classes, whether it's getting certifications. They give you time to develop and get the skills that you need to not only be successful at work, but be successful in your personal life. So it's really cool. So the Toyota production system is Toyota's tried and true, I would say, culture. And it's awesome. You see it everywhere. The next really cool part about the company is two pillars. And I say this because as you go into the working world, it's important that you evaluate. And when you go through your interviews, they're not only interviewing you, but it's important that you put your interview out as well. Because when you step into a company, you want to make sure that the culture is right for you. So when I was interviewing with Toyota, they said our two pillars, the two things that our company stands for is continuous improvement. Whatever we do, we want to get better at it. And the second pillar is respect for people. We never do anything that means anybody, makes anybody feel less than. We produce our cars, we want our customers to love them. The way we work, we want to make sure that we're respectful to everybody. And that was something that I could get on board with. When I was interviewing with them, not only were they interviewing me, but I was interviewing them. And those pillars are the tried and true way that they truly operate. So whether it's being in a meeting and you produce a report that may or may not be right, the person that you give that report to is not going to disrespect you, right? They'll say, hey Bishop, I was looking at this, I see some things wrong, let's talk about it, right? So there's a certain way that we treat one another that's unique. Not every company has that, so I recommend that you think about that. Use that as a calling card, so to speak, when you're going through the interview process to also interview them, understand what their culture is all about. So I spent this week with a couple of different individuals, two from Germany, two from the Netherlands. We're actually creating a different part of the company, a part of the company that doesn't exist right now. We're building it out. So I spent the last 4 days locked away in meeting rooms. After this, I'm going to go back. But it's fascinating. When I was in college, I never thought that I would have the chance to work with people from all over the world, but I have. And the skills that I acquired here have helped me to do that. Now, I'm in IT. I don't have an IT degree. So you may say, well, how are you in IT? So again, like I mentioned, my degree is in construction management and industrial technology. So if you think about construction management and you strip away the construction part of it and just think about what it is as a degree, there's project management that's a part of it. there is teamwork, there is problem solving, there is following a plan. So all of those skills and all those competencies, you take a construction manager out of a construction site, those are actually applicable in a lot of different arenas, right? And so there are a lot of people like me with that undergrad that do a lot of different things. Now, did I work in construction? I did. I hated it. And so I was like, okay, I have to figure something else out, right? I got these skills. I thought I would like it, and I didn't. But I got certifications, and again, like I said, I was working on my master's at the time in industrial technology, so I changed my career path. Did I know I wasn't going to like it when I was getting my degree? No, I thought I would love it, right? And so those are some of the roadblocks that we run into, but it's not necessarily a roadblock because I'm glad I figured out I didn't like it, right? I didn't stick with it. I course corrected. And I'll get into a little bit about how that works. So, like I said, I've been in corporate America 15 years, and it's been a fast 15 years. I have a family, 3 kids. So my wife's actually in education. She's a school counselor. I met my wife on my career, during my college journey. So I transferred to A&M Commerce. I've been in college 2 years. So my first year I spent at Tuskegee University. I played football there, and I didn't hold up my academic side. So mistake number one, 18-year-old, partied a little too much, right? Paid a little too much attention to girls, and don't hold up your academic side, you can't play football. So transferred back home, moved back home, spent a year at Allen College. So I'm from Allen, Texas, so moved back home with my mom. It's horrible. And spent a year at Allen College getting my grades back up. So while I was getting my grades back up, my wife was there on a volleyball scholarship. So at that point I was focused on my grades. I knew what I wanted to do. She was focused on her grades. Met her there. My high school coach, who was the coach here at A&M Commerce, and so he called him up and said, hey, Bishop here is a great player. I think he'd be a good asset to your team. And so he said, okay, I'll give you a tryout. So at that point, I was focused on my grades. He gave me a tryout. I was able to earn a scholarship to help pay for part of my education, and then the financial aid I was able to help pay for the other part. So I played a few years of football here. We were not half as good as they are now. So I am so excited about, one, the national championship. That was phenomenal. Even though I didn't get a chance to go to the game, I watched it on TV, but I came to the game before that catapulted them in. Phenomenal game. It was cool because it was like a reunion for us. So anyway, where was I? Yep. So wife, 3 kids, and so busy, right? So just trying to make it happen. Work, family life, coaching, supporting my wife, all of that. That's all part of my journey, right? And I wouldn't be able to do any of that had I not been focused on my education and then focused on what's going to take place after. So I was sitting in these seats just like you are. So today, I have probably a little bit less than 30 minutes, right? So I've got about 15 minutes to share with you 7 areas, 7 tips. So if you write these tips down, I promise you they're going to help you. 7 things that I want to share with you that hopefully will help you be a little bit further ahead than I was. So I'm going to tell you what I wish I would have known when I was sitting in your seats, because I think it's important to, number one, give back. And I personally believe that the generation coming after me should be better than our generation, right? And so how dare the generation before me not come and tell me what I'm going to tell you, right? No, I'm not going to hate on them. But what I am going to do is give you 7 things. All right, number 1. I've never had a job where I've just done what they've asked me to do. I've always used my creativity and my passion to add more value. So when you apply for a job, obviously you have to make sure you have the right background for it, right? Whether you're going to be a teacher, whether you're going to be an engineer, whether you're going to be, a college professor, whatever that may be, you have to make sure that you have the background for that. And if you're fortunate enough to get that job, based on who you are as a person, you can actually bring more to that role than they interview you, right? Perfect example. When I'm in my 3rd role at Toyota now, for the first role. So they brought me in and said, hey, we see you've got project management background, you've got process management background. We want you to help us streamline our process, right? So meet with different departments, whether it be manufacturing, whether it be on the business side, help us streamline our processes. And then the second thing we want you to do is teach others how to streamline the processes. So if you're working with a department, whatever you show them, we want you to teach them how to do it. I'll say, great, I can do it. I'm qualified, so I was fortunate enough to get the job. But once I got the job, I realized that it wasn't just good enough to teach them how to streamline processes. They also needed to know how to manage a project, right? They needed project management skills. So I went to my boss and I was like, hey, I know you asked me to do this as far as helping streamline processes. I'm great with that, but I also see a gap. There's an opportunity where we can help them go with it. He said, go. And so that's one example of just bringing extra value. So when you get in a role or a job, you may already have a job or it may be an internship, right? Always look for ways where you can add additional value. Number one, it helps the company do better in your school, wherever you work, in the hospital, whatever that can be. And number two, it helps you grow, right? And it puts the spotlight not only at you as not just what they hired you to be, but it changes their mindset of what you do. And so that's important. So when I left that role, I actually had an opportunity to transition to a different role. And I said, Bishop, we want you to help us rewrite the job. We want to add those additional components to the rewrite that role. So it's important to think about that. Don't just do what they hired you to do. Go above and beyond. Number two, always remain a student. Always remain a student. I think the number one mistake I made coming out of college, I was a little bit, I would say, unintentionally arrogant, right? And let me explain what that means. So I was proud. I got my degree. I was on my way to getting a master's degree, so I was working, like I said, for this construction company. Really didn't like construction, but it was paying the bills, and I was attending school at night and online to get my master's degree. And something happened. I walked in and they said, okay, you got your degree, great, you don't know anything. You have to learn this aspect of construction, these tests, this and that. And I was floored. It took me a week to sort of realize I really don't know what they're asking me to do. They see the potential in me, I have the degree. But I was under the mindset that my degree really prepared me to do everything that job required me to do, and it didn't. So I say all that to say, always remain a student. So what I've done every year or year and a half, I get a certification. I figure out where the job market's going, and I get a certification. I just got an Agile and Design Thinking certification I finished last week. Before I got this role with Toyota, I spent 3 months getting an international business management certification, not even knowing that I work for a global company. And me working with people from Germany and the Netherlands, and that certification taught me soft skills on how to work with people from different countries. Our company is a Japanese company. I learned how to interact with and sort of the social skills needed to work with people from different companies. So always remain a student, always look for an opportunity to grow. And again, sometimes your company will pay for it, sometimes you have to pay for it. But it's worth it because the job I have right now didn't exist when I was sitting where we are. But the reason I'm able to do it is because I continue to educate myself. So every 12 to 18 months, I would recommend getting a certification in something that is aligned to what your major is going to do. So that's number two. Let's see, number three. I always analyze my competition. And this keeps me marketable and sharp. So what does that mean? So there's a lot of people that do what I do, right? I'm not the only one. Maybe the only one named Bishop, but I'm not the only one that does what I do that has my background, right? That has this formal education, that have lived experience. So I use LinkedIn as sort of a measuring stick. So I will go on LinkedIn and I'll search for people that have my same title, or my same degree, or my same certifications, and I'll see where they're working, what they're doing. Sometimes it'll show what type of projects they're working on, what type of certifications they have, and a lot of times it will prompt me to get those type of certifications or trainings or request those types of projects at work. Because that's where the industry's going, right? Some of them have less experience, some of them have more experience. But I always analyze, like, who's doing something different than I'm doing, what skill do they have? So about 5 years ago, I got a certification in coding, right? So I wanted to learn how to code. I wanted to learn how to code, C++, HTML. I needed to be able to do that to add an additional skill set so I could apply for additional roles that I may not have been qualified for. So I'm always hungry, but I'm always looking at who's doing what I want to do, or what I'm doing and how they're doing it. So I always analyze the competition. All right. Number 4, I never turn down, well, I won't say never, but I typically have about 4 to 5 opportunities to interview with people. Most of the time, I'm happy where I am, right? The roles that they're wanting to interview me for, I don't want. But I take the interviews anyway. Here's why. When you interview with a company, it gives you an opportunity, 1, to do some self-reflection, because anytime I interview, I reflect on who I am, what I've done, the accomplishments, so I can be prepared for the interview. And the second thing it does is it lets me know where the job market's going, what people are looking for people who do what I do, right? And so that's something that's helped me. It's given me ideas. Once or twice, it's led to an opportunity for me to transition into another role, but most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it just gives me a good feel for where the industry is going. And if they do call me back for a second interview, if I want to do the second interview, I'll take it. If I don't, I can say, well, with all due respect, I'm happy where I am. Thanks for giving me a chance to interview. But I've gained some additional knowledge that I didn't have had I not taken it. So that's just a tip. Let's see, number 5. This is a big one. This has probably helped me more in my career than anything. Always look for qualities in those that you admire and try to learn from them. So what does that mean? I'm an introvert. Can you tell? I'm an introvert. I promise you, you can ask anybody that went to college with me. I'm quiet. And, class presentations, I would kind of stand towards the back, right, especially in a group unless I had to talk. But in 2012, I was working for this company, and it was one of the managers. It was his first day, so they were introducing this manager to everybody. His name was Robert Johnson. I'll never forget it. And so Robert had been with the company about 2 months or so when he was coming on to our site, and they said, "Hey, Robert, why don't you tell our group about some things that you've been doing?" Robert stepped forward and he spoke so eloquently, and I looked at him and I was like, I want to learn to speak like this guy. And so after it was over, I emailed him. I said, "Hey, Robert, I'm wanting to learn how to do public speaking a little bit better. I love how you communicated. Would you mind mentoring me in this area?" He was like, "Sure, yeah, I will." Now, it came natural for Robert to do some natural for me. So I would attend some of his events, sit in on some of his meetings, and I learned from Robert some tips. And then he introduced me to some YouTube speakers to watch. And so I say all that to say that when you get into the working world, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a manager, no matter what industry you work in, you'll be around individuals that have qualities and competencies that you admire and that you may not have. And you can learn from those people. And most of the time, people are willing to spend some time with you. But it's up to you to manage that relationship, right? So whether you reach out to somebody once a month, once every other month, you have to maintain that. But that's important to look for those. And what it'll do is it'll help you get better, and then it'll give you the opportunity to do what I'm doing now and give back, right? So that's number 4. Look for qualities that you admire in others. Or that's number 5. Look for qualities that you admire in others and learn from them. Number 6. Find mentors inside and outside of work that will give you honest areas where you need to improve. So my first mentor was actually a professor here named Jim Grove, and I had gotten out of college and I was working, like I said, for some construction company that I didn't like. So Jim calls me up one day. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm actually at work." And he's like, "Wait, I got this job that requisition is coming open at Elton Communications. He's a manager out there. He's like, I want you to interview for it." I was, in my mind, I was like, well, why is he asking me to interview? I was like, but I'm not going to turn it down. I'll interview for it. So I interviewed for it, wound up getting the job. And he was like, I'm giving you this job because, when you were a student, even though you weren't the best student, he was like, I saw some qualities in you. And one of them was you were brutally honest in a tasteful way. And part of this job is for you to need to be honest. And I was kind of scratching my head. I was like, well, how was I brutally honest? He's like, well, you remember that time you were coaching my son in a summer camp, and I asked you how he was doing, and you said he would be doing great, but he's lazy? I was like, yeah. He was like, that just blew me away because I wasn't expecting that. He was like, and it was the truth. Right? So anyway, Jim Grove became my mentor, and he would give me advice on anything from the clothes to wear to how to, sit in a meeting, when to take notes, when not to take notes, how to speak with leadership. And it was really great. And even after I left the company, we still talk a couple times a week. So it's phenomenal. So find a mentor inside and outside of work, more than one, that will give you truthful advice. I have mentors in work as well. So one of my mentors at Toyota, Martin Vasily, he's been there since the 80s. And recently the company went through a reorganization and I was really nervous. Not that I would get laid off, but I was unsure of what the future would mean in my particular department. So I set up some time with Martin. We had breakfast and I told him, I was like, where the company's going, and we've been here for a while, can you help me out? One is where we needed to be. He said, we were slow to change because we're so big. He's like, but we're moving in the right direction, and your role is going to set you up for success. He's like, it's going to be a little chaotic, but if you hang in there, it's going to pay off. And that took so much of a weight off my back because it's stressful. It's almost like finals week, right? When you're going to work and you're unsure, it's that same type of pressure. But having a mentor really helps take that pressure off and give you perspective. And it's important when you enter into the working world that you have people around you that can give you perspective that you don't have. And it may be because of their team, right? How long they've been in the workforce, or maybe their position in the workforce, if they're a few levels ahead. It's always good to have mentors that are a few levels higher than you that can give you good advice. All right, in closing, number 7, always look for ways to get back to your community because life is more than just a career. True, career is extremely important, but we're put here to leave the world a better place when you step into it. And so that's why I'm here today, right? So I would rather be here than work. I have to go back to work. I would rather be here. One of the things I do outside of work is I actually mentor college students through an organization called Scholarship. So I'm mentoring a young man at the University of Houston right now, and it's phenomenal. But that gives me more joy in doing that than my career does. So always look for ways to help you. You're all blessed with many different talents, and your life journey is equipped you with a way to do that in a great way. So I'll leave you with that in closing, right? It's not all about a career, but it's about leaving the world a better place. Thank you for having me, Lacey, and this has been great. Thank you.
I'm already an alumni. How are you able to keep the communication with the college itself?
LinkedIn. It's been great. I think Lacey found me through LinkedIn.
Shanna actually reached out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We found through LinkedIn. We found us, I can't remember, but LinkedIn is a great way to stay connected because in LinkedIn it shows you who the alumni are.
Okay.
Any other questions? So the first one was as a process engineer. My second one was as an IT consultant and innovation consultant. And now I'm a digital academy consultant. So Toyota is actually building out an academy within the company. And so that's my third goal.
First question about person.
The worst they can say is no. So you can just ask and just tell them like what you want out of it. Like, I'm trying to get better and whatever it may be, or I need advice on whatever it may be. And most people, unless they're jerks, are gonna make time for you. And maybe every 2 months or so, but and if they say no, then there will be somebody else. I mean, that's me now. Somebody else may have a different perspective, but that's how I see it. It's an organization called Scholar Shop. It helps students from under districts who are in college, and most of them are first generation college students, provide